up, and welcome back to Rumor Has It Official. Let's get straight into talking all about 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. This is season 6, episode 14, and the title of this episode is She's a Snake in the Grass. Now, in this video, I will be mashing up the couples. I'll be talking about Mike and Natalie and Elizabeth and Andre in this video. Again, I will be mashing up two couples in this video. I do have my phone here. I'm going to read from my notes so that I can stay on topic and get out all the points that I want to discuss in regards to these couples. Before we get started, I need a huge favor, besties. Give this video a big thumbs up, share, subscribe, plus hit that bell so you will be notified on all future uploads coming from this channel. And let's go ahead and get straight into it. So we're going to start off with Elizabeth and Andre. Now, in their scenes from this episode, Chuck wants to meet with Elizabeth for lunch. He wants to meet with Elizabeth only. And you can tell that, Andre is really rushing her out the door. He wants her to hurry up and get there and be on time, and when she's done with the meeting, to call him and let him know what was said. He is really on pins and needles because of everything that has transpired between the family, and he wants Chuck to see him as an asset and not a liability to the family business. So I think he is very threatened right now and unsure if his position with Chuck, or all the work that he's done to get in good with Chuck, if that now is in jeopardy, basically. So again, Elizabeth is going to meet with her father, and once they sit down for lunch, Chuck is basically telling Elizabeth that he already knew that allowing Andre to come into the family business, that this was going to create division between the family. And I feel like with him knowing that, then maybe he should have done a better job at trying to alleviate a lot of this mess or stop some of this mess from happening by pulling his kids to the side, having talks with them, just to kind of give them the reassurance that their positions wouldn't be threatened. I just feel like, even maybe if he did do that, it probably still wouldn't have made a difference, because I'm kind of now somewhat you all know I'm not really a fan of Andre. I really don't care for him that much, but I will say that, definitely the kids do seem to be a bit threatened, and we really don't know what's going on. We know what they say on TV, but behind the scenes, what's going on for them to have such strong feelings. I don't know if they're just on this, hate man train of Andre's that just don't like him, and they don't feel like the dad should be giving him the opportunity. But I feel like the only reason the father Chuck is giving Andre an opportunity is because he's married to her daughter. And I feel like if Andre is successful and is doing well, then his daughter is doing well. And then also too, because of how Andre presented things when he was like, if I don't get this green card renewed or something like that, they're going to deport me, and I'm taking Libby and the baby back with me. So I feel like Chuck is trying to ensure that he does all that he can so that his family can stay together. But again, I don't know if it just wasn't proper communication, or, him putting his kid's mind, at ease. I don't know behind the scenes if him and Andre have really gotten so close to where they're more or less doing more business with one another, because you remember in the previous episode, Chuck did confide in Andre, which Andre then opened his mouth and put the business out on camera, which he shouldn't have, because I feel like Chuck told him that off camera and in confidence. Chuck was venting to Andre about how Charlie has messed up a lot and lost a lot of money partying and not flipping some of these houses or getting a profit. They've lost money. I feel as though Chuck is maybe, him and Andre have gotten very close. And so now he's seeing the work that Andre's willing to put in. And so he just wants to take a chance on that, since his kids aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. And because the kids know they haven't been really doing what they're supposed to be doing, now that Andre's coming around, they feel threatened that could be taken away from them. I don't know. Comment down below your thoughts on that. I have a lot of thoughts in regards to this whole situation with the family. But like I said, he does say that, Chuck does say that he knew that this would cause division by bringing Andre on into the family business, but goes on to say that it's not Andre's fault. And that was really big for Elizabeth, because she feels like everyone, her family, her siblings, everyone is against Andre. So Chuck says that Andre has been a blessing to the business and does everything that he tells him to do. Chuck says that he believes that his kids are jealous. Now, he goes on to say in this scene with Elizabeth that he wants to have a cookout to bring the family together. Elizabeth tells her father that she believes that he's playing with fire, and I would have to agree. I think this is like a terrible idea. We already seen that Charlie did not go to his own niece's birthday party because he does not get along, cannot stand Andre. So I think that this is playing with fire. I think he needs to have conversations individually, or together with his children and get on a good footing with that. But I feel like having this cookout, I'm sure they're going to be drinking, which that shouldn't even be there because, that is like a recipe for disaster, having liquor, drinks there. So I think that this is not going to turn out well. We did see a little snippet of Andre and Charlie getting into it at some point. And at this point, I really think that needs to happen because it's just too much tension. So they probably do just need to go ahead and scrap it out, to be honest. Comment down below your thoughts. But yeah, the dad, he wants to have this cookout. They move on to another scene where it's Jen, Rebecca, and Rebecca's husband, and they discuss not wanting to go to this cookout, and they kind of continue to just vent and rant about what all transpired at the baby's birthday party, how they feel their father is being shady with working with Andre, how they feel like their positions basically are threatened now. And, just really talking about how much they don't like Andre. They say their father is intimidated by Andre and called their sister a scammer. They say that they don't hear from their father anymore ever since he linked with Andre. Now, Jen, Rebecca, and Rebecca's husband decide to compete against their father, Libby, and Andre. So now they want to get together and start flipping houses and do all this stuff. This is going to, like, this little family feud and competition, this is going to actually be interesting. I wonder if they're going to allow us to see this play out, and I wonder if they will do well. I don't know. If they weren't doing well and they were dropping the ball, says Chuck, with their father, then how are they going to do it on their own? So this should be pretty interesting to see, because my thing is like, if you know your worth and you know your value and you see that maybe your dad is moving in a different way, why haven't you been started to do your own thing? Say, well, this is what I do. I can do this on my own. I don't have to really work with my dad. It would be nice. But if he's moving in a different direction, I see he's not really wanting to go in and invest with me in these properties or give me the listing to these properties. He now wants to give it to Andre. Okay, that still doesn't stop me because I'm still qualified to do what it is I know how to do. So why haven't they been, kind of taken these steps to do that in the very beginning, instead of getting so hot and frustrated and intimidated by Andre coming into the scene? So comment down below your thoughts all about Elizabeth and Andre. And now we're going to move on to Natalie and Mike. So Mike is walking, how they start this scene, Mike is walking in like a little park area. And he says that he's just trying to process everything that took place. He says he was like just fed up at how Natalie always tries to make him look like the bad guy. So he basically just let out all his frustration during that time. And he was like, it even felt good to kind of call Natalie out because he feels like she tries to paint him as the bad guy. Now, he tries to call Natalie in this scene and the phone just keeps ringing until eventually the voicemail picks up. Mike says that he just doesn't feel like he's a priority in Natalie's life anymore. Now, I don't think that he ever really was a priority, only a stepping stone for her to get to the U.S., okay? Now, he sends her a text, and when the producer wants to know what the text says that he wrote to her, he says it like he summarizes it. He's like, I just told her, I hope you're feeling better. I know yesterday was tough on you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Now, Mike says he wants to have another conversation with Natalie to see where they stand. When he doesn't get a response from Natalie, he ends up calling his mother, Trish. So Mike tells his mom that Natalie is at Julianna's, and Trish says that she believes that Natalie likes to start arguments on purpose so that way she has an excuse to leave him. Trish tells Mike that Natalie doesn't even like him and is a snake in the grass. Mike says that he can't talk about her like that. So Trish goes on to say that she believes the minute Natalie gets her green card and her work visa, she's out. And that may be true. But Mike, kind of responds to that, only time will tell. His mother encourages him to divorce Natalie and do so quickly. Mike tells the producer that he does believe that there is love there between him and Natalie, and he doesn't agree with everything that his mother says. He goes on to say that he's going to keep trying his best to work on it because Natalie is important to him. Now, in the next scene, they show Natalie, and of course, she is at Julianna's house in her room, the room she told Mike that she has there. And in walks Julianna, serving Natalie tea and a pastry, greeting her as my Natasha. Not Natalie, but my Natasha. Natalie says after her big fight with Mike, she knew that there was only one person that she could go to. Now, my question once again is, where is Julianna's husband? Julianna is in the bed holding Natalie's hand, telling her to stay with her. And I definitely think that something is going on between these two. Julianna encourages Natalie that she can stay and wants her to go and pick up her things from Mike's. So Natalie hops in one of Julianna's cars, because I know that's definitely not her car. She hops in one of her cars along with Julianna's with her, and they head to Mike's place. So I feel like, in this episode, she could have at least given him a heads up that she was on her way to get her things, because I feel like it's like blindsiding him. You just come there and like you're packing up to just leave. At least you can let him know that. Or how about just staying? Like, I never understand all this separation stuff. I guess sometimes people need time to process things, but I just never believe in like packing a bag and leaving for days from someone. Now, okay, it's verbal and physical abuse. Yeah, you need to remove yourself from that situation. They're having arguments because they haven't figured out a way to effectively communicate with one another. And so I think that definitely grants, if they want to stay in the marriage, some marital counseling. But they're not even doing that. They're trying to fix it on their own, but they're just don't have the tools, I feel, to do so. And then, with Julianna in the picture and whispering in Natalie's ear, she's a married woman. She should be telling her to take her tail back home, but she's telling her to stay with her. And I'm like, where is her husband at? I don't see Julianna's husband, nor do I see her family. Like, where's this woman's family? And what does her husband feel about Natalie staying there? Now, Natalie came there to be with Mike, right? And she wanted to be married, so she needs to take her behind home and fix it. That's my opinion. I feel like, again, separating won't solve anything. So I'm very curious to know what you all thought about Elizabeth and Andre and Mike and Natalie in this episode of 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After. This was season 6. We talked about episode 14, and the title of this episode is She's a Snake in the Grass. Comment down below all of your thoughts. Give this video a big thumbs up, share, subscribe, plus hit that bell so you will be notified on all future uploads coming out this week. And as always, my besties, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.